Hello, it's Fry and Mo and the nightly Newsy News Show, the news you never knew you needed ish. Fryberto, I swear to all that is holy, let your brother leave. Fry. Fry. This is what happens when you have co hosts. All right. Out of Shame is back on. as always. Out of Shame is becoming less and less of a threat. I don't know why. But puppy classes will be registering tomorrow because we are a menace, a zoomy menace to society. Oh no. Go get your sock. Go get your sock. Not the face. Not the face. Not the brother. Go get the sock. As we tried to say, this is the nightly Newsy News Show, the news you never knew you needed and probably don't. Oh, for the love of goodness. Fry. Fry. Animal co-hosts, what are you going to do? Backwards. Get away from the cat. All right. Nope. Nope. No. You're going out. But you can't be good. Now stop. You've got all of your toys right here. Now stop. You're a pain in the butt. Okay. This day is going so well. Let's try this one more again without the feral puppy. Thor is hiding under the bed, and Fry is finding this terribly, terribly upsetting. And Thor is laughing because he's getting Fry in trouble, which is, well, the only big brother thing to do at this moment. In top news, I saw this on another channel, so I figured I'd let you guys know. Tomorrow, there is a nationwide emergency alert test that will be happening on your phones and TV and radios and everything. So the purge is not happening tomorrow. I repeat, the purge is not happening tomorrow, but it will feel like it. The nationwide alert system will be tested on Wednesday. You will see messages on your phone, TV, radio for like 30 minutes, people. Will receive emergency messages. The U.S. Federal Communications Commission and Federal Emergency Management Agency will trial their U.S.-wide emergency alert system on Wednesday, October the 4th. The Emergency Alert System, or EAS, for TV radios are being tested at the same time as the Wireless Emergency Alert, or WEA, system for phones will be doing the same thing. This is the 7th nationwide test for the EAS, so the second time to test all cellular devices in the U.S. So around 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time, 11:20 Pacific Time on Wednesday, October the 4th, cell phone towers will begin broadcasting an emergency alert for 30 minutes. That is right, for 30 straight minutes. Your phone, if it is in the range of a cell tower, you will get a message that says, "This is a test of the nationwide wireless alert system. No action is needed." So, just again, alert, the purge is not happening, but, everyone's phone will be going off. Uh, hello. Yes, puppy has been kicked out because Thor is hiding under the bed, just taunting his little brother. So, yes, FYI, Fry is out of the building for right now, because he was being taunted. FYI, around 2:20 Eastern tomorrow and, 11:20 Pacific Time tomorrow for about 30 minutes, if your phone is in the range of a cell phone tower, for any reason, alerts will be going off for about 30 minutes because they're testing the nationwide cell phone alert system for the 7th time. So, you know, again, it is not the purge, it is not a nationwide crisis. This is just a test, but people have gone all tinfoily. I will let you guys go to your own specific corners of the internets to figure out which level of tinfoil you want to go on. I just figured I would spread the news because if it were me, I would go full on tinfoil, but I would also think the purge was happening. So I wanted you guys to get a little bit of a heads up, even though this is the nightly Newsy News and it's a fun story. I did see this on another channel and I thought I'd give you guys a heads up. So I did kind of snipe from Clownfish TV, but I did find the article. So I did want to let you guys know, all 3 of you, but still, if, your phone does start going off at, 2:20, like it is a freaking they could have at least made it 4:20, at least make it funny, but no. If your phone does start going off at 2:20 like a crazy person, yeah, it is again, it is not duck under your desk time, it is not the purge going down, it is simply a test, or at least that is what the government is telling you if you go to the other corners of the internet, which I am not advising because those other corners of the internet are cray. Unless you are a full Dale Gribble, then I advise you to go there because some of the stories are hilarious. Like, look, I will invite you to go to your own corners of the internet because some of the stories and suggestions of what the government is really doing uh, are quite funny. If you need a pick me up today or tomorrow, that will be, for you. Shenanigans, I love that. I will be using that whenever I get the chance. Hello, Carlene. Yeah, it will be on TVs and radios too. I don't think there's any escape, so unfortunately, we will all just have to deal with it. Uh, in other news, a wedding guest missing after possible shark attack near California Bay Area. So, just when you thought that all you had to deal with at weddings were drunk people sad that they weren't in a relationship or that weird uncle of yours, no, now you have to watch for shark attacks. A swimmer is missing near California's Bay Area after he was attacked by a shark while traveling for a wedding celebration, authorities said. The swimmer, a 52-year-old man, was reportedly pulled underwater after being attacked by a shark near a remote area called Wildcat Beach at the southern end of Point Reyes National Park around 10:30 Sunday. Yeah, that's why I stole it from I saw that Clownfish covered it, and I thought, "Okay, well, I am, in theory, a fake news channel. I should probably at least give people heads up so they don't think the aliens have come." Uh, let's see. Uh, Point Reyes National Park around 10:30 a.m. Sunday. While the rescue mission continues on the ground, the search within the frigid waters for the missing man was called off on Monday by Coast Guard officials, the National Park Services said. The man had been a part of a large group celebrating a wedding and backpacking with a group of the event's guests when the attack allegedly occurred. Well, that's not good. Witnesses told the San Francisco Standard, "My son came up to me and he said he heard someone screaming," Samantha Endel told the outlet. Well, that's just we came out and a group was gathered around the area where the water is. They were looking for someone who could call emergency services because there's no cell phone service there. Isn't it ironic that the one place you would need cell phone service, there's no cell phone service? Uh, and Edel, who had been camping there with her son on Sunday, brought members of the group to her campsite so they could call for help. Quote, "They told me that their friend was out swimming and he was attacked by a shark," Edel said. "I said, 'How bad is it?' They said he never came out of the water." The Coast Guard was contacted about 10 minutes after the alleged attack took place, about an hour and a half north of San Francisco. The search was concluded by land, water, and air, officials said. Quote, "The Coast Guard suspended its search in the frigid waters this morning, but a ground search is being conducted by first responders from the NPS, the Marin County Sheriff's Office, the Marin County Fire Department, and the Stinson Beach Fire Department, according to the advisory from the National Park Service. A search for the swimmer was called off at 9 a.m. Monday as officials began contacting his family. Yes, Fry has left the building. Thor is under my bed and just far enough that Fry can't get to him and he just wants to bark at him. So until puppy training classes kick in, it would just be barking. It would just be only barking. So I guess the moral of this story is do not go swimming. I was always under the impression that the water around north of San Francisco was fairly frigid and you didn't want to go swimming in it, but be careful in the ocean. The ocean contains sharks. Sharks are better than swimming at us. Well, look, there are those of us that are, I'm just going to say maybe they're prepping us. In other news, the Michigan Supreme Court refuses to hear the case of James and Jennifer Crumbly. So the Michigan Supreme Court has punted on this case. The Michigan Supreme Court made history Friday in letting the unprecedented charges stick against James and Jennifer Crumbly, the parents of the Oxford school shooter, who must now stand trial for their alleged roles in the death of 4 students murdered by their son in 2021. The Crumbleys are the first parents in America charged in a mass school shooting as prosecutors seek to hold them criminally liable for buying their son a gun that he used in the massacre, for never telling the school about the weapon when they were summoned over his troubling behavior. The parents, who are facing involuntary manslaughter charges, have been fighting for 2 years to get the charges dismissed. Their final appeal before the Michigan Supreme Court, which after 7 months of receiving the request, opted not to hear their case. I mean, at this point, I feel like S Supreme Courts shouldn't be allowed to just opt out of, hearing cases. It did say Eastern let me go back to this. It said 2:20 Eastern Time, and then, 11:20 Pacific Time, and I'm sure if you go to, emergency alert system, they'd probably give you a better breakdown of when those time zones are gonna happen for your area. This is the reason I do like Brave, is I can jump from story to story. Uh, no, I have not. I didn't get into the Murdaugh trial, so no, I did not, but it it could be possible that they have that.
Did you reset the?
Let's see here. In a one-paragraph order released early Friday morning, the state's highest court wrote, quote, "It's denied because we are not persuaded that the question should have been reviewed by this court." To avoid trial, the Crumbleys, who have been jailed for almost 2 years now on involuntary manslaughter charges, could still cut a deal in the case and plead guilty in exchange for potential leniency. However, prosecution would have to agree to any such agreement, and the judge would have to have final say. Neither side can comment on the latest ruling, as there is a gag order that prohibits both the defense and prosecution from publicly speaking about this case. The Michigan Supreme Court's decision comes just days after an Oakland County judge concluded that the couple's son, Ethan Crumbley, is eligible for life without parole for his crimes when he was sentenced in December. The Crumbleys have long maintained that they kept the gun properly stored and had no idea that their son would carry out a mass shooting. But the prosecution, which conceded from the get-go that this is a difficult case, alleged the Crumbleys were irresponsible parents who ignored a mentally ill child and brought him a gun instead of getting him help. Now, this is interesting because all of the things that they are going to argue are going to be things that they basically argued the counterpoint in the Ethan Crumbley case, uh, that they just had on, that Dave just covered. Basically, all of the things that they were fighting against Ethan for getting, life in prison or being, um, able to turn around, and that, the school isn't liable or other people could have helped him, all those things. It is just interesting that the state can hold 2 separate positions at the same time, basically concerning who they want to charge. Welcome, Jody, and Nicholas, I'll definitely have to, look at that. Computers are magic. I don't even understand how people work them half the time. I really don't. Let's see. In the months before the shooting, the boy had told his mom and a friend he was hearing voices and seeing demons in the house. Prosecutors also argued that the Crumbleys, more than anyone else, could have prevented the shooting had they informed the school officials that they had bought their son a gun on the morning they were summoned to the school over his troubling behavior. On the morning before the school shooting, Ethan Crumbley had drawn a gun and a human body bleeding on his math worksheet, along with the words, "The thoughts won't stop, help me." The Crumbleys went back to their jobs after the school meeting and promised to get him help, never disclosing they had bought him a gun. 2 hours later, Ethan Crumbley emerged from a bathroom and opened fire in the hallways, killing 4 students and injuring 7 others, including a teacher. Quote, "While the shooter was the one who entered the high school and pulled the trigger, there were other individuals who contributed to the events on November 30th. So, are we gonna go after the school? Are we gonna go after the school therapist that, sent him back to class? I mean, where are we gonna stop with this? Are we gonna go back to the kids who bullied him? I mean, it just seems like we're treading a dangerous line here. It's my intention to hold them accountable as well, Oakland County Prosecutor Karen McDonald said 2 days after the shooting, referring to the Crumbleys. But the defense countered that the charges were overreaching, unwarranted, and could set a dangerous precedent for parents everywhere who could be held accountable for their children's actions. Quote, "Of course, the desire to hold someone accountable for the tragedy that occurred at Oxford High School on November 30th, 2021 is certainly understandable, but the temptation to stretch the law to fit the evil is an ancient one and must be resisted," the defense attorney Shannon Smith argued in prior court filings. The defense has long argued that the initial district judge in the Crumbleys case abused her discretion in binding the couple over for trial, maintaining that the decision to charge them was clearly erroneous and set a dangerous precedent that will cause injustices. The Michigan Court of Appeal disagrees, concluding in March that the judge did not abuse her discretion and upheld the charges. So the Crumbleys appealed to the Michigan Supreme Court, maintaining that the prosecution could not prove that they caused the student's death, and the only one responsible was their son, who pleaded guilty to the murder last year. Quote, certainly after every school shooting, the media and those affected are quick to point to so-called red flags that were missed in the school shooter's life. But the truth of the matter is, one cannot predict the unimaginable, attorney Marielle Lehman, who represents James Crumbly, wrote in her filing to the Supreme Court. Smith, who is representing Jennifer Crumbly, echoed that in her filing, arguing that the rationale for charging the Crumbleys, quote, should be particularly troubling and begs the question of when a parent will cross the subjective line of good parenting and render themselves criminally liable for the independent acts of a teenager. In this case, Smith argued it was the teenage son who terrorized the school with deadly violence, not the parents. Ethan Crumbly's acts, quote, acts without a doubt constitute intentional misconduct, Smith wrote in her filing with the Supreme Court. As made clear by his 21-page journal, Ethan did not, in the spur of the moment, embark on homicidal rage. To the contrary, he planned the attack well in advance. And, Smith argues, his parents had no way of knowing this. The Oakland County Prosecutor's Office disagrees, arguing the Crumbleys, more than anyone, could have prevented the shooting that had they paid attention to their son's mental health, alleging the boy was spiraling out of control but got no help from his parents. After the shooting, the police discovered the journal in Ethan Crumbly's backpack. In it, he detailed his plans to shoot up his school, writing, among other things, the first victim has to be a pretty girl with a future so she can suffer like me. I want to kill everyone I effing see. I have fully mentally lost it after years of fighting with my dark side. My parents won't listen to me about help or a therapist. In the journal, he also apologized to his parents for what he was about to do. Quote, I'm sorry for this, Mom and Dad. I'm not trying to hurt you by doing this. I have to do this. I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. In his final entry, he wrote in large, bold letters, forgive me. The Crumbleys say they never knew of the journal's entries until the shooting. When they heard them in court, they hung their heads and wept. So, like I said, I think that I don't know that we should allow Supreme Courts to just punt cases. I feel like this is exactly the type of case that is an overreach that we should make the court actually have to judge on, because this is there's nothing stopping prosecutors after this if, they want to go after, mom, dad, sister, cousin, uncle, brother. I mean, again, are they going to go after the school therapist who let him go back to class? I mean, the therapist saw him write that on the note on the paper too. Why didn't she say, "You're scaring me. I want you to go home"? It just I don't really like the precedent we're setting here, and I don't like the fact that the Michigan court can just punt things. Now, I'm sure there's a lawyerly reason that I, not being an official lawyerly lawyer, don't know. So that could be it. In happier news, they've got little horses. The Feast of St. Francis, many ponies and camels line up for blessings. So pet owners bring their animals for blessing at a celebration for the Feast of St. Francis at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine in New York City. I did not know people had miniature horses as pets, but now I really want one, and Mr. Mo will definitely say no. And a camel, apparently, because why not have a camel in church that's kissing a grown altar boy man? Look, I haven't been to Catholic church in a long time, and a hairless cat. And a duck. So, St. Francis, if you did not grow up, super-de-duper-de-duper Catholic like I did, or just vaguely Catholic, St. Francis was the patron saint who kind of loved all animals. And on his, saint day or uh he, the church would bless animals and altar server. I knew there was an official word for whatever they were. Look, I didn't pass catechism. We don't talk about it in front of grandma, even though grandma's in heaven. But on St. Francis Day, St. Francis of Assisi was the patron saint of animals, and generally, some churches would bless animals. It reminds you to be kind and gentle to animals, good stewards of the earth, good stewards to animals, kind and gentle. And now I really want a mini horse. Again, Mr. Moe said no, which is mean. And I feel like we should reconsider. But considering Mr. Fry is already a handful and a half, probably not going to happen. I have also found a story on the world's coolest bagel shop, so I'm definitely gonna go to this place. Order a bagel and schmear at Felt's Bagel, and you will be fed an original piece of art. New York. While not one of the major food groups, a bagel and schmear of made of felt may satisfy your appetite for art. Felt's Bagel, the latest installation from British artist Lucy Sparrow, uses approximately 3,000 pieces of felt to recreate the look and feel of authentic Jewish bagel shops prominent in New York's Lower East Side neighborhood. So I definitely want to go here. I want to buy all of the things. It you feel I today has been the Mondayest Tuesday ever, but don't they all look so super cute? Okay, now that I've geeked out a whole lot, this is fun. Sparrow said she wanted to depict how this breakfast food brought here by Eastern European immigrants in the late 19th century morphed into New York society and beyond, making the bagel the Swiss Army knife of breads. Cream cheese, butter, cold cuts, lox, anything that fits on the circular bread is fair game, Sparrow felt. Taking over an abandoned storefront in the East Village, Sparrow's pop-up shop runs from Tuesday to the end of October, offering a step back in time and the ambience of a real New York bagel shop. So, isn't it cute they all have little eyeballs? I'm so okay. Look, this would be my kind of place. I would spend way too much money on stuffed bagels that are made out of felt. Hello, Murph's Turf. Adding a dose of reality, Sparrow works the counter, taking orders of the bagel of your dream or a regular order if you're so inclined. The custom bagel sells for $250. Pricing for other items starts at $10. It's the bagel that you order in real life, but I sew it together for you, Sparrow says. We have everything here from six types of bagels, 44 types of fillings, so the possibilities are endless with what you can create in the art world out of felt food. I know, they're so cute. I want all of them. This isn't the first time Sparrow has converted classic New York installations into felt. She previously tackled a 1980s bodega until 8 till late, a delicatessen with Lucy's on 6th, and others. Felt's Bagels provides an immersive experience for the patron. You are absolutely forcing people to interact with art that you're not usually supposed to do in art galleries, Sparrow said. I want them to curate their own sandwich with like as little input from me as possible and having that turn into art almost like their own portrait coming through the medium of felt food. Well, it's a felt bagel, so it's not a real if you can see behind there, it's got little eyeballs, little googly eyes, so these are all felts. So they're little stuffies, which, yeah, $200 for a stuffy is terribly expensive, but they're super cute. Look. Oh, poor Jonathan, you just can't catch a break. Every product recreation and deli item was cut and sewn by Sparrow, who said it took 9 months of around-the-clock work. I used approximately 400 yards of felt. Oh my gosh. Look, I I do sew, and that's an incredible amount of work. While this isn't her biggest installation, Sparrow admits Felt's Bagel presented some challenges. It's definitely the most complicated in terms of all the different components and interaction with a lot of different pieces, that it can be so personalized. So she made all of these little things out of felt, the black and white cookies and the little doodads and all the fun stuff. Other elements of the installation that, while felt real, included an antique cash register, a traditional Greek diner coffee cup, and pickle jars atop the counter next to the roulage. Look, we know I can't say things. I'm gonna say roulac. Oh, yeah, well, we know I can't have nice things. Well, that's a little weird, but yeah, no, I won't be doing that. There's a full section of baked goods and shelves all over the stores laden with both Jewish delicacies and comfort foods, and of course, a staple of any authentic New York bagel shop, the black and white cookies. Quote, "The research for the show basically involved me going to many bagel shops," Sparrow said. That's research I could do on my own. I feel like I was born for that research. Carbohydrates? Yes. Bagels? Yes. Finally, research I could get behind. And gather information from all the different places and in my head, turn it into something that's very technicolor. So that's really cute. She does these little pop-up shops made all out of felt, and that's really cool. So look, we have to find some fun stuff because the next story is not that fun. Journalist, quote, "with an insatiable passion for telling the real truth, was shot 7 times in the chest and abdomen." Now, this is a little controversial. Josh Kruger, a Philadelphia journalist known for standing up for the LGBTQ community, homeless, and other disadvantaged people, was shot to death in his home early Monday, according to police. Now, the controversial part is that he had just gotten done with a Twitter war, I believe between the Dilbert, Scott Adams, and I think Mike Cernovich. I could be wrong, but as I am only on Twitter to promote this show and my streams, but I have heard from other podcasters and such that, he had just gotten into, kind of like crime isn't bad in Philadelphia. You, evil right wingers are making a mountain out of a molehill. You have a greater chance of passing away from the coof than you do crime. Um, kind of comments, and all of you people that are making a big deal out of crime, we need to be talking about more important things, and Philadelphia's crime statistics were going down. I believe those were some of the last few tweets that he made. Now, it is still terribly sad that he passed away. Those are my disclaimers as to this being a controversial story. The police department responded to his home on the city's south side at 1:30 a.m. and found Kruger, 39, shot 7 times through his chest and abdomen. He was transported to the hospital, where he was pronounced dead at 2:13 a.m. The Philadelphia Inquirer reported a person entered his home and started shooting. Well, obviously, I mean, they didn't start talking to them. Police believe Kruger was shot at the base of his stairs. He ran out of his home seeking help from neighbors where he collapsed. The Inquirer said the shooter has not yet been arrested. Kruger had written on his Facebook page about a few disturbing incidents that had happened to him over the last few months. The Inquirer noted an ex-partner had broken into his home, somehow obtaining keys to get inside, which caused him to change locks. Someone had thrown a rock through his window, and a person who identified themselves as Lady Diabla, she-devil of the streets, Look, I'm not saying that I'm going to steal the name, but it's not the most terrible name ever. Came home came to his home asking about a boyfriend and threatened him. Kruger was a freelance journalist who wrote for The Inquirer, Philadelphia Citizen, and a nonprofit media organization focused on solutions based journalism, Philadelphia Weekly, and LGBTQ Nation. He also worked in a communications office for the city of Philadelphia, first as a communications director for the Office of Homeless Services and content director for Mayor Jim Kenney administration from 2016 to 2021, his LinkedIn page said. Quote, shocked and saddened by Josh Kruger's death, he cared deeply about our city and our residents, which is evidenced by his public service in writing, Kennedy wrote on X. Larry Krasner, district attorney for Philadelphia, wrote on X that Kruger, quote, lifted up the most vulnerable and stigmatized people in our community, particularly unhoused people living with addiction. Krasner also said he would keep in close contact with Philadelphia police to ensure justice can be served. Let's see here. So, again, this is more newsworthy, mainly because he had just gotten done kind of in sort of irony of ironies, basically clapping back at several people on the other side of the aisle saying that crime was going down in Philadelphia. Actually, in particular, shootings were going down in Philadelphia, and that certain people were uh, overblowing crime statistics. So, it's not the greatest thing. In People Are Still Good news, a postal worker brings a dog to a vet after a snake bite and lets family know on a doorbell camera. So, quote, this sweet woman took our girl to the vet and left us a note on her phone in our camera to show, or left us a note on her phone in our camera to see. Kelsey Proctor told Facebook of the postal worker's impromptu rescue. A postal worker became an unlikely hero after she saved a dog's life. Owners Kelsey and Aaron Proctor shared a heartfelt tribute to the postal worker on Facebook on September 22nd as they described what had happened and asked friends to help locate the woman. Within hours, they identified her as Holly Keene Prigmore. I'm going with that name. According to the Proctor's Post, Prigmore was making deliveries at their home in Georgia when she discovered that the couple's dog, Ginger, was in pain. The beagle had been bitten by a copperhead snake. Prigmore decided to take her to a vet and get the vet checked out. The Proctors were not home at the time, so Prigmore left a message on their doorbell camera to let them know that their dog had been bitten and she was taking the animal to a vet. She also wrote a note on her phone that read, Little Beagle Bet by Copperhead, in case there was any confusion. This sweet woman took our girl to the vet and left us a note on her phone in our camera to see, the Proctors wrote in a post. I want to thank her from the bottom of our heart. Thankfully, Ginger is going to be okay, and I truly believe it's because of this woman. The post circulated quickly within the area, and Prigmore was identified as a postal worker who had saved the day. She commented on the Proctor's post, quote, absolutely my pleasure to help. Ginger is a baby doll. Kelsey shared that Prigmore would usually see Ginger at the Proctor's mailbox for a treat when she was delivering their mail. On September 23rd, the Proctors shared an update on how their puppy was doing following the snake bite. Ginger update, she is doing well, they wrote, alongside 2 photos of the beagle who held her hind paw up as she walked. She's in pain, her back left leg paw is swollen, and she's afraid to put pressure on it. She's been resting and getting lots of love under some blankies. The Proctors added, we're so thankful for the outpouring of love for Ginger and her sweet friend Holly, who is there for her in her time of need. Prigmore commented a heart on the post. Local outlet 11 Alive's reporter Caitlin Ross shared on Facebook that Prigmore loaded Ginger into her mail truck to deliver her to the emergency vet, and that she even snapped a picture of the snake to be sure she was giving the vet correct information. The copperhead that bit Ginger is a venomous snake that emits a hemotoxic venom to its victims, according to Life Science. While the bite is very rarely fatal to human, the venom can affect dogs much more drastically. According to Ethos Veterinary Health, copperhead snake bites cause tissue damage in the area around the bite, and emergency veterinary care is necessary for the dog's survival. So I'm glad we ended on a happy story because I have a couple other stories, but I'll save those for the morning because we need a happy story. So, just as a quick warning, since there's more of you people, or there's more people here, uh, there is going to be a nationwide emergency alert test on your cell phones tomorrow, 2:20 Eastern, 11:20. Okay, so around 2:20 PM Eastern Time, 11:20 AM Pacific Time on Wednesday, October 4th. For 30 minutes, apparently, they're going to be testing all cell phones, TVs, radios in this nationwide alert system. So the purge is not happening. I don't believe aliens are here yet, to my knowledge. So just to let you know, yeah, that's going to be happening tomorrow. So just, you know, it's a test. It is only a test. Just to let you guys know, there will be no action needed. Hopefully, it will not be going off for 30 minutes. Otherwise, I will be turning off my phone because holy cow, 30 minutes of that noise, I will lose my mind. And we need Mo to at least have half a mind some days. So, the game plan tomorrow, folks, guys, you guys out at home, is that we will do the mornings with Mo and Fry as usual. Then we will go into Maya and we will be doing I believe it's the uncle and the brother's testimony in the morning. And then we will go into the rest of day one for the boy in the box trial. And we will then go into nightly Newsy News, try to uh, speed watch you know, watch at 1.25 to catch up with the trial since we are doing Maya stuff. Maya, we will be doing more of the the bigger testimonies and not so much of all the testimonies just to keep my sanity. And so we will be doing kind of summaries of the days and things like that. I was going to do more of the boy in the box trial this evening, but I am kind of tired. So I am going to let you guys go. I don't know if anyone else is on tonight. Hopefully poor Baker gets a verdict tomorrow. I feel so terrible for him. I promise, Baker, I will take the 5th trial if there unfortunately and hilariously needs one. And, I will see you all bright and early, 9 AM tomorrow morning with more newsy news that you never knew you needed and rarely do. Oh, EU is going to be on at 8, so you have about 15 minutes to get you guys a snacky snack, brush your teeth. If you're my kids, brush your teeth. If you're my kids, you shouldn't be watching this. Ooh, very cool. But get yourself a snacky snack, get yourself a little potty break, go watch EU. Have a wonderful evening, and thank you for joining me. I will see you all in the morning. Have a great evening. Bye, guys.